I've never been the kind of person who believes in the supernatural. Ghosts? No. Demons? Absolutely not. Cursed places? Never. But everything changed after what happened to me. This story is not just a creepy incident. It is the reason I still can't sleep peacefully at night. If you're alone right now, especially in a dark room, consider this your warning. This story will follow you. At the time, I lived in Atlanta. A small apartment, one bedroom, tiny kitchen, and a living room barely big enough for a couch. I worked in IT, so I stayed up late with my computer almost every night. One night, it was around 12:40 a.m. Rain tapped on my window rhythmically. It was calming, peaceful. But that peace vanished in an instant. I turned toward the window and froze. Someone was standing there. I don't mean walking by. I don't mean a shadow. I mean directly outside my second-floor window. A tall figure, slim face, something dark covering most of his body. I couldn't see details, but the silhouette was unmistakably human. I rubbed my eyes thinking it was a reflection, but no, he was there, perfectly still, watching me. A chill ran through me so violently that I almost dropped my laptop. I shouted, "Hey, who are you?" No answer. He didn't flinch, didn't blink, didn't move at all. There wasn't even a reaction to my voice. Then, slowly, he turned around and disappeared into the darkness. I barely slept a minute that night. The next morning, at work, I told Mike what happened. He laughed. "Bro, maybe it was a prank or someone from the building next door. Don't stress it." I wanted to believe him. I really did. But I knew what I saw. 2 days passed. Nothing strange happened. I started convincing myself I had imagined the whole thing. But on the third night, the man returned. And that's when everything began to spiral into real horror. At 2:17 a.m., I suddenly woke up. No noise, no nightmare, just a feeling like the air itself was pressing down on me. I turned to the window, and he was there. Again. But this time, I could see his face. His skin was unnaturally pale, almost white. His eyes were dark and empty, like two holes cut into his skull. Even through the glass, I could feel cold radiating off him. I took a cautious step closer, and then he smiled. I will never forget that smile. It wasn't human. It wasn't even close. Only the left side of his mouth lifted. The right side stayed frozen. It looked like someone who had never smiled before was trying to imitate how humans do it. Then, he placed his hand against the window. His palm left a cold, foggy print. I gasped. His hand had 4 fingers. Not 5. 4. 4. I switched on the lights instantly, and when I looked again, he was gone. Only the 4-finger handprint remained. At that point, I considered calling the police, but how do you explain someone standing outside a second-floor window with no ladder, no balcony, nothing? It didn't make sense. I tried to think rationally. Maybe stress, maybe lack of sleep. I wanted any explanation other than the truth that something was watching me. The next incident proved it wasn't in my head. 3 nights later, around 3:11 a.m., I woke up to knock, knock, knock. It was coming from my front door. My blood instantly turned to ice. I grabbed my phone, holding it like a weapon, even though it was useless. "Who's there?" I yelled. Silence. I got down on my knees and looked under the door. There were legs, but not normal legs. Thin, too thin, almost bone-like, wrongly shaped. My throat tightened. The knocking stopped. But then, skr, skr, skr. Long, sharp fingernails dragged across the door. I couldn't breathe. I backed away slowly, not daring to make a sound. I stayed in my bedroom with the lights on until sunrise. When I finally checked the door in the morning, there were long scratch marks carved into the wood. This wasn't imagination or stress. It was real. I decided I couldn't stay there anymore. Mike joked, "If he sees him again, I'll come beat him up for you." I laughed with him, but inside, I felt like crying, because I knew that whatever was visiting me wasn't human enough for fists to matter. I planned to move out immediately, pack my things, but one more night in that apartment was unavoidable, and that was my biggest mistake. That night, the temperature dropped unexpectedly. Even with the heater on, the air felt icy. I was packing clothes when I heard it. Creak, creak. The window slowly slid open by itself. There was no wind. I turned around. The room was empty, yet the air felt heavy, like someone was standing in the corner. I didn't want to turn around, but I did, and I saw him inside my room. Not outside the window, inside. I stopped breathing. He was taller than I thought. His limbs were too long, too thin. His bones protruded unnaturally under the skin. His head leaned slightly to the side, like it was too heavy for his neck. The same terrifying smile stretched across his face. He took one slow step forward, then another. I backed away toward the door, but he kept coming, silently, smoothly, like he wasn't even walking but gliding. He reached his hand toward my face. The moment his skin touched mine, everything went cold. Not normal cold, freezing. The air turned into ice in my lungs. His voice, if you can even call it a voice, slipped out of his mouth. Let me in. But it wasn't one voice. It was several layered together. A man, a woman, children, all whispering the same phrase. Let me in. Let me in. Let me in. I panicked, pushed myself toward the door, yanked it open, and ran. Down the stairs, out of the building, into the street. I didn't look back. I couldn't. A taxi stopped, and I practically dove inside. The driver asked, "Where to?" I could barely speak. "Anywhere. Just go." 2 weeks passed. A new apartment, new environment, new life. I thought it was over. I wanted to believe it was over. But one night, I glanced out my new window. People passed by the street below. Cars drove by. Everything normal. Until I saw him, standing, completely still, in the middle of the crowd, staring up at me. Even from that distance, I saw the smile. The same broken, unnatural smile. He lifted his hand, 4 fingers, missing the 5th. I dropped the curtain instantly. My phone slipped from my hand. Then I heard it from my front door. Knock, knock, knock. I didn't move, didn't breathe. The clock on my wall read 3:11 a.m. He had found me. He always will. And if you one day hear soft knocking,